So I don't know if the music ended, but I'll just say this. Welcome
It's still
to
going.
the
Good job. I
still
love it.
going.
Go,
Oh
Evan.
shit.
Send it. Send it. Send
Okay.
it.
All right. Oh, all right. We're here.
F
We're
it.
here.
We'll do it
Welcome to the
live.
show. We are live. We're not live. We're recorded. But anyway, we welcome to the show. This is Internet Uncapped. I am your host, Evan. Joining me once again is my co-host, Mitchell. We have a lot to go over today, Mitchell.
Yes, sir.
I have there's actually this has been a little bit in the news, but before we get into some of what I'm about to get into, we have to talk about some of the stuff going on in wrestling, and we have to specifically talk about what happened last month during Royal Rumble. Now, this is our second episode, of course. We don't know what kinds of fans are going to be on the episode as well. And so, after we cover just about everything in the world of WWE professional wrestling, we are going to do a bit of a debrief just to go over some of our thoughts, ideas, and other kinds of things related to the show and what we want out of the show.
Exactly.
Right? So let's really get into it. Before we really do, Mitchell, you invited me to your apartment. We won't disclose where. We don't want to dox you, but you
Yes.
did invite me over to watch Royal Rumble. Um, share with us some thoughts of what was going down. First impressions of what you thought about Royal Rumble.
So, I mean, Royal Rumble, always a great time. You always, and what makes it different now is the fact that it's Triple H now, and now it's no longer Vince McMahon. Vince McMahon was a big believer in bringing in back some of the legends, having special guests and stuff like that. Triple H, not a big fan of that. He wants it to be. Oh, there goes my phone as it goes off.
Oh,
He wants it to be about the wrestlers. That's it. He doesn't want it to be about anyone else. Like there might be some special guests, but they're gonna compete. Like you have Bad Bunny, you have Logan Paul. They go ahead and they have a move set. They will do stuff in the ring, just like the competitors. So again, with Triple H, it's different in that sense. But with Vince McMahon, again, it was always about like the special guests, having the people come out. But with Triple H, because it's his second one, you don't really understand the formula yet. With Vince McMahon, you kind of knew like, oh, there's probably gonna be someone that comes out here. There's probably gonna be this that happens or that happens. But with Triple H, people are still trying to figure him out, and it was really just a fun time to watch. The biggest pop of the night, though, for me, was say his name and he appears. I believe in Joe Hendry.
yeah, there are a lot of big names too. And
Yeah.
before we continue, I will say that the format was very interesting. This is my first time watching it. I'm not a huge wrestling fan. Mitchell is a ginormous wrestling fan,
Love it.
and you'll get to know that later on as we go along here. But what was really interesting was that Royal Rumble consisted of 20-person men's match,
30.
a main event, and a women's match, 20-person women's
30.
match.
30. 30.
30? Oh, okay. I thought it was 20, but
No, it's
so
30.
it's 30 main and 30 again. Okay.
Yeah.
See, I'm a noob to this, so like, of course I'm gonna mess this up.
Yeah.
I didn't know that because obviously, how would I know that? I've never watched Royal Rumble. I only knew it by name. And there were a lot. I mean, there were a ton of like really famous wrestlers. I mean, Rey Mysterio was there. John Cena was eventually there. Roman Reigns was there. Seth Rollins was there. Obviously, the infamous people who have recently joined, like Logan Paul, was there. Surprise guest appearance by iShowSpeed, who is a lame-o YouTuber, but he was there regardless. But it was quite a show. I mean, it was really quite a show, and I was really impressed by it. I will tell you. It was like, wow.
Yeah, no, I mean, and that I Show Speed clip of him getting speared by Braun Breaker, one of the highlights of the night. I loved it. I thought it was so funny to see him get speared, and I think what made it so great is, like you noted, there's a lot of people that hate on him, and I don't really hate on I Show Speed. I don't have a problem with him. I know there's some people that talk about his content and what he's like. I've never seen anything where he's ridiculous. Like I know he does like the whole barking thing. He's like rah, 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 and I'm just like I don't understand it, but you don't have to understand everything. But he has his audience. He has his things, but Yeah, so I mean, he makes content for people that like it. Not my personal thing, not my cup of tea, not something that I would want to watch. But he makes his own content and he stays in his lane, for lack of a better term, and he has fun doing it. And at the end of the day, that's what life's all about: doing stuff, making
That's
money,
true.
and having fun doing it. I don't know if he's ever been involved in any type of crypto scam. I would have to look at CoffeeZilla for that one,
Oh,
but
sure. Yeah.
yeah, but I've never seen anything like that. Maybe there is. Someone will correct me. That's fine. He's not someone that's constantly being sleazy or getting caught doing things, and it's like, oh,
Okay,
there's I
that's
show
fair.
speed again.
Yeah.
He did that. He's out there kicking puppies and punching kittens. Oh, I show speed. You know him, that rascal. But no, he had a good spot. I thought it was fun. I thought it was absolutely hilarious. Him getting speared like that. But yeah, Joe Hendry, man, number 15. That was the night. That was the moment of the night for me. That was the best.
Totally. Oh my God. And oh my God, I'm blanking on his name, but there was this one wrestler, and we were watching him. He was like this giant Scottish guy. His name was like
Drew
it was like
McIntyre.
Angus or what? What?
Was it the redhead? Because
The redhead. Yeah, big
that's
giant
Sheamus.
fat guy.
Sheamus.
Sheamus. Yeah. Oh my God, he came running in like a little baby. He was like, ugh. And he was
Like
so funny. And then he got eliminated. We're like, oh,
my
Sheamus.
my favorite part during that was when Joe Hendry was getting beaten up, and he said, "Hey, I was watching that," and I was like, "Yeah, yeah, you tell him I was watching that too, Sheamus." Like, oh, that was so
Oh
great.
yeah, no, it was so much fun watching it. Again, never seen it in my life, but it was so worth it just to trek over.
Hmm.
Now I will mention this because of this. I had an idea. I thought this would be pretty fucking great for the show. So, what I did 2 weeks before I went to his apartment was I actually grew out a full beard and I wanted to cosplay as one of the most famous wrestlers in the game, Macho Man Randy Savage, because you got to get the madness in there. So, Mitchell, if you can pull this up, I have made a little bit of an intro, or a promo, if you will, of me as Macho Man Randy Savage. If you can share your screen, I also put the link
Yep, I
so
got it
we
here
can.
in the chat. All right,
Yeah.
I'm playing it right now. Here we go. You're full screen right now.
Okay, let me
What's going on,
just
everyone?
super quick.
As you can
Where is
see,
it?
I look very
I
different than
got
I usually
Macho
do.
Man
And
Bombastic
that is
Relish.
because tonight is Royal Rumble,
Yes.
and I have been invited to
It's not
watch
playing
it
on the.
at my
Are you
friend
sharing your
Mitchell's
screen?
house.
I'm
But
sharing.
can't
No, sorry,
be
I'm just playing on my screen.
Royal Rumble.
Oh, good. We can start
But
over.
no, it's fine. It's fine. Just I'm just gonna play it on my screen. People will be able to see it.
Without the macho.
Oh,
Okay.
but here, let me I'll share it. Let me do that.
Just share it on. Yeah, just share it on Discord.
Boom.
There we go. Perfect.
Yep. And give it a second. Let it load, and then we hit that. Can you see it?
Uh, yes.
Perfect. All right.
Perfect.
Let's go back. Love the shades, obviously.
What's going on, everyone? As you can see, I look very different than I usually do. And that is because tonight is Royal Rumble, and I have been invited to watch it at my friend Mitchell's house. But it can't be a Royal Rumble without the Macho Man Randy Savage, because I am the cream of the crop. Oh, yeah.
Now, as you can see, I did actually record a reaction. Now, of course, due to doxing, we are not going to show that.
Yep.
His reaction was fucking amazing. You didn't expect me to go as Macho Man.
Yeah, when you came up to the door, I was like, no way. I was like, did he really pulled it off? I kind of figured you were gonna because we talked about it on the phone prior, and you're like, oh, I got something planned. I was like, you're gonna dress up as a wrestler, and then you're like, yeah, and I was like, Hulk Hogan, and you're like, no. I thought you're gonna dress up as Hulk Hogan for the memes, because I was like, that'd be mad funny. You show up at Hulk after he gets booed, and then he's just like, I don't know why I got booed, brother. But we're just out here, we're hanging and banging, brother. But dude,
Oh my god, yeah.
yeah, oh man, it was so.
That would have been a good idea, but no, I went a whole other way.
Yeah.
Whole other
Yeah,
way.
you went Macho Man, Randy Savage. Oh yeah.
I am the cream of the crop, you know. And
When the
and
Macho
at the end of the
Man.
night, I did my Macho Man, and guess what I did? And as you saw, I threw a bunch of coffee creamers on Mitchell's floor,
Yeah.
and it was that was it. That was the night.
That was it was a great
we
moment.
didn't film it, but I did it. Yeah. No, that was my highlight of the night. But doing that.
My
So,
random highlight of the night that has nothing to do with wrestling, and it was a sign that we saw, and when I saw it, I could not believe it. So we actually had to rewind it, and it was a sign that said, "DSP, get a job." Absolutely funny. And Evan, I don't know if you know this, but he actually addressed it on his stream. He
you
addressed,
did.
yeah, he addressed it, and then
Oh.
he said, yeah. I'm paraphrasing. I'm not gonna say exactly what he said, but here comes my DSP impersonation. Snort. Yeah, fucking idiot. He went ahead. He did all the fucking pre-show. Nobody watched the fucking pre-show. Snort. Fucking idiot. Wasted all of his money just to show a sign that no one would see. So,
Is he Popeye now?
bro, that's if you ever hear him laugh, bro, it's how he laughs. It goes, that was actually a really bad one. He literally goes, it's ridiculous. And then the snorting, oh my god, the snorts are the funniest thing. There was actually a guy that I remember watching a while ago. He had a snort counter, and it was just DSP just. He's like snort, and then he would put it down. And he actually did say one time, DSP that is, he's like, what do you want me to do? Just put a button that like anytime I'm gonna go ahead and have to clear my nose, I'm just gonna hit the button and mute myself. Yes, it's these dumb fucking kids, right? Dumb fucking kids. And it's like, DSP, bro, no one just wants to hear it because it's gross, dude. Like, have some fucking manners. But yeah, that sign, and you were there, Evan, so you can attest to this. I called my mom. I took a photo of it. I sent it to my mom. She read it. She started dying. She was like, does that say DSP get a job? Oh my god, someone brought it to the rum. I was like, yeah, they did. Yeah, oh, it's so funny. My mom actually gets a kick out of it too. She watches detractor channels sometimes on YouTube, and sometimes we go ahead and we share stuff. She's actually a big fan of Duty streams. I'm not joking. Duty streams, he is actually like Phil's arch nemesis. That is how it was told.
Interesting.
In the Bible, it is Jesus versus Satan, or God versus Satan. In DSP Vortex, it is DSP versus Almighty Tevin and Duty streams. That is how it is foretold.
Very interesting.
Yeah, so my mom watches it. Yeah, my mom watches Duty streams. It's hilarious. She'll send me a video. I'm like, oh, new video drop. She's like, yup, boom. I click on it and I listen to it at work. What was the other thing I was gonna say? Yeah, the sign was awesome. It was absolutely awesome. It's true. He should go get a job. Stop begging for money. To quote DSP, I need that money. I really do. The electric bill, the internet bill
is rampant, very rampant, especially in that corner of the internet, the YouTube sphere, all that.
Yeah, and
they're always just relying on what's called super chats. You donate money, and then it pops up in the little, and you can say whatever you want, but like. It's like that can't be your main source of income. He doesn't
use that though.
Okay.
He uses PayPal.
PayPal.
Yeah, and then he claims that he doesn't get people's information, which is wrong. You use PayPal.
You're absolutely getting people's information on PayPal.
You get that, and plus he I think he uses a business account. I could be wrong about that. Or I think he had a business account. But like you get email. And you get personal information. I know you get the email for sure, and he tries to say I don't get that. Not true. Not
at all.
Yeah.
No bullshit.
Yeah, it's just another DSP lie. That's all it is. Shame on you,
all
Phil.
It is.
What would Dave and Linda say about that, Phil? Those are his parents.
Oh, his parents. Yeah. Well, anyway, yeah, it's funny because this ended up being kind of a backdoor coverage of your DSP series, but it's all good because it's relevant, super relevant. The sign was there, we saw it. I barely knew a lot about him. I've been learning more about him over the past month now, but amazing. And you could see it was literally the panel of the guys doing the coverage of Royal Rumble, and then you see it like right there in the background. He's just holding it up. And we're like, holy Moses, there it is.
It looked like it was dead center too.
Dead center, exactly. It was dead center.
They knew what they were doing. I respect it.
It was awesome.
I respect it.
I loved it.
It was, again, from the pre-show, that was the highlight for me. That was the highlight.
Yeah. Now, last weekend, I did not see this. I saw Royal Rumble. I did not see this. I caught a little wind about what happened. But there was the WWE Elimination Chamber, and a John Cena who lost Royal Rumble.
Yep, he was the
he did
last
something
two, him and Jey Uso.
Called, yeah. Now, he did something called, now let me check my notes here, turning heel.
A heel turn, yeah.
Now, Mitchell, for someone like me, can you explain what that means by turning heel?
So, pretty much in wrestling, you have your baby faces and then you have your heels. Your baby faces, you have faces, you have heels, you have the baby faces, and then you have your tweeners. So, your heels are your bad guys. Those are just bad guys. Everyone hates them. Your tweeners are your guys that can flip-flop. Like, they might be good, they might be bad, who knows? It depends on what's going on. Then you have your faces. They're your good guys. They do things by the book. Then you have your baby faces. Your baby faces are the top one. They can do no wrong. Everything is honor. And that's what John Cena was. He was a baby face. Never did anything wrong, never did anything bad. He was always just a good guy. Vince McMahon, very much so, he went ahead and he never believed in having, he never believed in, if you're a babyface, he never wanted to make you into a bad guy. That was his whole thing. If you're a babyface, you're a babyface.
Right.
So he was very much against, like, if Vince McMahon was in charge, this wouldn't have happened. John Cena would have still been a face, a baby face. So John Cena, it's everywhere. It's on the internet. He betrayed Cody Rhodes, kicked him in the nethers, and after that, Travis Scott, and The Rock beat the bejeebus out of Cody Rhodes in the middle of the ring, and that's how the Elimination Chamber ended. Really wonderful, quite wonderful. A lot of people were saying that, like, oh, Elimination Chamber is boring. Like, this is going to be such a bad pay-per-view. Road to WrestleMania doesn't look too good. This happened. It just sparked interest immediately. Everyone's talking about WrestleMania now. Everyone's like, oh my God, this is going to be insane. How is this going to work? And then CM Punk cut a promo that Monday, which was actually this past Monday, calling out John Cena, calling out The Rock, calling out Seth Rollins, and he got me fired up. So I mean, the road to WrestleMania right now, it's hot. Things are going great. I can't wait. You're coming over. We're gonna watch.
I am.
It's 2 nights.
Yes.
2 nights, Evan. 2 nights, back to back.
Oh.
Don't you owe me? You're coming over, cheeky bastard.
I will make it work. We will figure this out. But I'll have to bring a sleeping bag or something.
You're not gonna break the circular trust, fucker.
Not the circular trust.
Yeah.
My inflatable bed or whatever.
Listen, if you don't do it, bro, DSP is gonna fucking snort in your ear. That's what's gonna happen. He's gonna
I definitely agree to coming, but we'll have to figure out the 2 nights thing because I was not aware of that.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, if you don't,
it's a month away. We'll figure it out.
Yeah, yep. DSP is gonna snort in your ear, dude. You're gonna hear snort right in your ear, dude. It's gonna be DSP's wet snort, just
ear.
Yeah, that's or it's gonna be even worse. It's gonna be DSP trying to explain the bank leaks, how they're his but they're not his. He's gonna be like, now guys, and he's gonna do this other laugh where he goes,
man, oh man, I'm telling you. I will comment this before we move on. Again, I saw Royal Rumble, so I know what the deal was. I knew a little bit of the backstory around it. Even I was like pretty into the whole thing because it was circulating Twitter, it was circulating a lot of different places,
Hmm.
and people were like, "Whoa, like he turned heel, like what? Like
Yep.
is that possible?" And so and The Rock, I mean obviously because he had a pretty big comeback recently
Yeah.
in WWE and all that. So then to have had this kind of concoction of then leading up to Cody Rhodes being kicked in the dick over it, it's like, wow, this is actually quite a spicy little thing going on, and it and I and I think it's interesting because there are all kinds of ways that wrestling has been able to promote things over the years. I think that what I've noticed is that there's a little bit of promotion over the internet, but they hadn't really figured the formula out. I think that what I see as an outside observer, as a non-fan, really, this is kind of the first time where social media drove this moment in a way.
No,
Like I
no,
think the fans, no,
no. There's
okay.
been
Then what do you think? What do you think?
there's been other moments too, like Logan Paul
Oh,
showing
okay.
up, like things like that. I think this is
Sure.
the big time that like it's like made headlines. Like wrestling back in the '90s, back in the
Yeah.
'80s, it was everywhere. It was talked about on the news. It was talked about on like sports news. This
Sure.
is the first time in a while that this was talked about on ESPN. This was talked about on Fox Sports. Like that's how big of a deal this was. You had guys like Stephen A. Smith going, "John Cena turned heel. This is crazy world. Never did I think he was gonna do it." Like just talking. Yeah, I mean it was absolutely insane. It was almost as crazy as it was almost as crazy as Wings of Redemption claiming that he likes Coca Cola but he drinks Pepsi. That's how crazy it was. Um,
Yeah. Interesting.
yeah.
Okay.
Oh my lord.
I think I mixed up my words, but I absolutely agree with that assessment, and that makes actually quite a lot of sense. It was
Yeah.
it was a it was a push in all these different forces,
Yeah. It,
and then
it,
it just really yeah.
it was one of those things, and the reason why it was such a big deal is because John Cena started as a heel, but that was back in 2003, 2004, in that era. But then he became this huge baby face, and he's been that ever since. Hustle, loyalty, respect. That's always been his thing. He won the Money in the Bank, and he didn't sneakily cash it in. He was like, I'm gonna cash it in and get a match because I have honor, and that's what it was all about with him. Like everything he did, it was with honor, integrity, and then to have this,
Interesting.
it was insane. For a while it was like there are some things that are certain in this life: death, taxes, and John Cena was a face and he was never going to do anything wrong, and Cyrax is a PDF file. Those were the four things in life that you could guarantee. Oh, and then five, Tom Brady is the greatest of all time. That's
Of course.
those are the things that you could guarantee. But now you look at it and you're like, whoa, like that, wow, that happened. Like for me it was kind of a shock because even in all the wrestling games, they show, oh, here's a face. Who's at the top of the list? John Cena. You're like, yep, that's the number one face right there, John Cena, baby. But yeah, it's insane.
Very, very interesting, and especially in the coming weeks leading up to WrestleMania, what is going to happen? I'm going to be very interested, and this is really the first time, really, that I'm paying attention to this kind of stuff. So I'm excited. I'm really down, and really, what I think is also very interesting too is that they realize they have to bring in a lot of people who don't traditionally watch wrestling. I think from my observance, that's what I'm starting to see. And if the social media push can do that, I think that will make them even more successful. Royal Rumble was pretty big. It got a lot of views from what I understand. So
Hmm.
WrestleMania could be even bigger in my
Yeah.
estimation.
Well, they call it the showcase of the immortals for a reason, and that's what it builds up for. That's why you have the road to WrestleMania. You have the road
Sure.
to WrestleMania. But what was I going to say? Yeah. So I mean, I think that they're trying to reach a wider audience now. That's why they bring in guys like iShowSpeed. That's why they bring in guys like Logan Paul. These
Sure.
big internet sensations who, they just they have such a big audience, and if you can even get 10% of that, it's good. And hopefully
Sure.
those are consistent viewers. That's why they like guys like, again, like Logan Paul and iShowSpeed, having them come in. Kai Cenat, he's even been on Raw a couple of times where
Oh yeah.
he's actually challenging he challenged iShowSpeed to a match at WrestleMania. So we
Interesting.
might get Kai Cenat versus I Show Speed, but I guarantee you it'll be like a tag team match, and then they'll get a couple of wrestlers to do it, and then it'll be like a whole like thing, and then oh my God, watch out, I Show Speed with the spear, like they'll do something like that.
Yeah, he'll get speared again,
Oh,
and
that
it'll
if
be
he
even
gets,
funnier than this is
I
the
mean,
first time.
maybe it will be Braun Breaker. You know, he's a young up and coming talent. You know, he's got to show like, hey, I'm a team player. I'll do this. Maybe that'd be pretty lit though. I would love that. Have him in the match, just spearing I Show Speed again. He's doing
Who
it again. He's
knows?
doing it again. Bow. And
Man,
then
oh
they
man.
have Kai Cenat, and then they just have to figure out another wrestler.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I am very, very excited. No, I'm gonna yeah, no, that's gonna be good. I think WrestleMania is gonna be quite the talk of the town when it comes that weekend on the first weekend of April. It's gonna be good.
Mm-hmm.
So okay, well moving on. We are I wanted to go over a little bit of the background, actually, of why this podcast exists. Because believe it or not, this has been a project that I have wanted to do for a very long time, and I think
Since high
Mitchell
school.
also has since high school. Right? That's what I was going to get into exactly. So basically, yeah, in 2013 or so, I had listened to a fair number of podcasts and other YouTube shows that were acting like podcasts. Think of shows, comedy shows, actually, like Just Kidding News or 10 Minute Podcast or stuff like that. And I thought because I had a recorder, I have I don't, it's kind of dead. I have to figure out how to charge it, but it was a little Sony recorder.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, wouldn't it be really fun, like to have all of our friends in our friend group, like do a podcast? Like that would be like so much fun. And also because we were so crazy and so like unfiltered about all kinds of different stuff. And obviously we were in high school. We didn't quite know like what to do and how to like do like literally anything, or like we weren't as educated as we are today, a decade out. But unfortunately, my first attempt, Mitchell was there, as he will attest. It did not go very well.
Mm-hmm.
It felt like I was herding a bunch of cats, and they were all going in all kinds of different directions, and I couldn't quite get them back in the middle. And a lot of people weren't taking it very seriously. And I was trying to, sort of frame it as like a news discussion show, but also had this kind of like edgy twist. So it had some kind of, suggestive sort of topics and whatever. Mitchell, believe it or not, was one of the only people who I was very surprised about, because he's a very much joker. He's a troll. He
Yeah, I'll take
will
that.
like throw you under the bus for all kinds of reasons. But he took this thing out of all the things that I've wanted our friends to be involved with quite seriously. And so even though everything fell apart, I realized that if I was to do a podcast ever in my life, I would 100% involve Mitchell. Now, Mitchell, you actually asked me to do the podcast. I was actually a little surprised, but because of that history, I was like, you know what? We're going to do it.
Yep.
We're going to absolutely go for it. So it's been over a decade. We both had radio experiences. You currently, do radio. I won't say where. And I have done news readings in college. And I've done other things too, and what interviews with people and whatever. But it was time. It was so time for both of us to hone in our skills, to hone in our personalities, to show what we knew, and really, make this thing fly. And before we get into it, we're in our late 20s, we're in our early 30s, we're just trying to figure out what we want.
Mm-hmm.
I found a very interesting new podcast. These are eighth graders out in Maryland, and they're just talking about their favorite foods. So Mitchell, if you can pull up the link right now, we'll show the clip that caught my attention. These kids are
Did you share?
dynamos.
Did you share it in the chat?
Yeah, it's in the chat. It's at the very bottom.
Oh, I see it. Boom.
Okay. And then just share your screen, and then
Yep.
we'll get going.
I almost just turned my camera off. That would have been unfortunate.
Oh,
Can't have that.
there we go. Perfect.
All right.
Just I think exit out.
Yeah. Why is it?
That's a little dumb, but
Yeah. Give me 1 second. I don't know why it's.
okay.
It
No
wasn't. There we go. I don't know why it took a second to get it going like that, but there we go. And
Okay.
share screen. Boom. Zippity zoppity, Evan. Show me the boppity. So this is them.
What's your favorite topping on a pizza?
If I had to choose, it'd probably be like pepperoni, but I'm just a regular cheese guy.
Yeah. I just do cheese. I don't do. Yeah, I just do cheese. I don't really like pepperoni. It's kind of a weird taste.
I'll do pepperoni, but same thing. Like,
Yeah.
A lot of people are big pepperoni fans.
I think meat lovers too. I have meat lovers go.
I'm not a big fan of it. I'm not a big fan of like the sausage in general.
I've never had a meat lovers.
These are 8th graders. We couldn't even do it as juniors in high school, and these kids are like pros at the game.
Yeah.
And it's like, and what's really cool about these kids also is that they're out in Maryland, and they just love talking about their favorite foods, and they also highlight many different
Local
spots,
Yeah.
local restaurants out in where they are. Really cool stuff. And it's like, if they can do that and try to get something going, people can do anything. People can make any kind of show. They can do whatever they want. And it was a wake-up call for both of us. It was like, let's get it going. So yes, Mitchell, for reactions on MD Foodie Boys and just your overall thoughts on creating the show.
They got better fucking cameras than us.
Oh, way better. Oh yeah,
It's so
they have
funny.
production value up the wazoo. It's
I know.
kind of clear.
It's insane. It's insane. I love it. I love it. Like it's just wild. In this world, nowadays anyone can make content. Anyone can be a content creator, and anyone can be their own boss. It's the beautiful thing about technology. So I mean, I didn't get into this podcast to go ahead and be rich and famous. I just did it because I wanted to make content. I just want to make content, and if someone watches it and thinks, hey, this is fun, great. I love editing. I love doing. I mean, I've been sending you a bunch of thumbnails and like just random photos. I love Photoshop. I be doing mad crazy stuff on Photoshop. I did one of my manager. I'm not gonna show. I'm not gonna dox him. But he's just giving.
They're fantastic.
He's just
is
giving
what I'll
the
say.
bird. He's like.
Just giving the bird and all these different, and I won't say what they are, but they're all these different scenarios, and it's just like, oh my god.
Yeah, and
But it's actually good because then we can make thumbnails, and you can make the thumbnails, and that's pretty cool.
But yeah, I mean, and I think that with anything, when it comes to like content creation, you have to love it. You have to love editing. You have to love making the content.
Absolutely.
That's why I think guys like DSP, I think he fails because he doesn't love it. He'll go on, he'll be like, you guys, I love being a content curator. He was saying that for a while. And then curator. He curates content.
Wow.
Like, bro, DSP is dense. All right, like don't get it twisted. But he kept saying like I'm a content curator. Recently he's just like guys. That's another thing. He always says now guys. He has 3 cameras now, Evan. 3 cameras. So
Three cameras. Ooh.
Now he can show his fucking socks and his underwear, which he did do. He was like, "Oh, I'm wearing these. Here are my socks." And one of his fans recently, I'll save this discussion for another time. But yeah, I think you gotta love that stuff. Like like some of these guys, they get miserable. But I think let's say we did this for 5 years, and then you were just like, I'm cooked. I don't want to do this no more. Or if I was like, I tap out. That's it. Like I don't look at this as like the end all be all. It's not like everything's riding on the line. I just want to do this for fun. Do it for comedic purposes. If it's funny, it's funny. If it's not funny, well, I'm an asshole, I guess.
Oh yeah, no, I'm in it for the long haul. I've wanted to do a podcast for the longest time. I mentioned this just now, but like it made so much sense, and then you asked me and I'm like, nope, we're gonna do it. I'm not saying no to this. This is not happening. I am going to make this show because I've wanted to make the show. And even like during COVID and all of this, I think people were starting to realize like there's so much that we lost during that time. And now things are kind of trickulating back. And it's taken a while for a lot of people to recover, and it still has taken a lot of people since COVID. But I think that this is one of those things where it's like, if it's not now, we're not going to do it. Like, if it's not now, we're not going to have a show ever. And it's like, no, we got to do this right now. So, moving on to I want to go over some ideas that I have, but before I do, although I mean, I can start, you can start. But Mitchell, do you have ideas coming up for things that you want to see on the show?
Yeah, so I mean, we're two guys that are very heavily involved in media. We love video games, we love movie, TV. We already talked about wrestling. We love all that stuff. So I think in the future, we talked about doing like not necessarily reviews, but given our like I guess kind of a review, but like talking about not like a specific item. Like we're not gonna be like, GTA 6, is it good? Should you buy? Like we're not gonna do that, but we might do something where we bring a friend on, and we actually have one friend. I'll say his name on here. He's gonna be on here, so might as well. His name
Sure.
is Deepak, but we call him Deepu. So that's yeah, you can call him that too. We call him Deepu, and
Oh God,
shout out to Deepu. But yeah, so
I hope he doesn't get annoyed that our audience may call him that.
oh it's Deepu. That's Deepu. That's
Sure.
I have him saved like that on my phone.
Oh God,
Yeah,
fair enough.
dude. I have crazy names for everyone, bro.
Mm.
I have like
I have no. You have one for me too.
yep.
Uh,
Not gonna
but
say
yeah,
it. Not gonna say it. But like I got names for everyone, bro. Like there was a guy that I worked with, Harrison. He's blonde. I saved him as on my phone as the sexy blonde at work.
Oh
And
God.
I was in a relationship at the time, and my girlfriend at the time was like, "Who was this? Huh? The sexy blonde at work?" I was like, "Oh, it's Harrison." Oh, and you save him like that? You think I'm stupid? Call it. Called it. Yo, Metro,
That's
what's up?
amazing.
I was like, "Hey, Harrison, how you doing?" and then she was like, "I'm sorry, I doubted you. Yeah, fuck you. I don't cheat." It was fucking.
That is unbelievable.
It
but
was so funny,
that's
but
so perfect.
back to what we were
Wow.
saying before. Yeah, so Deepu, he's a gamer, very avid gamer, and we were thinking about doing an episode talking about AAA games and like why they don't resonate with people anymore compared to like indie games. Indie games seem to be all the rave now. But like AAA games, it's like flop after flop after flop. Occasionally you get a God of War, you get a Red Dead, but then you have like 3 games in the like within the span of like 2 months that just are complete dog water. So we were thinking about bringing him on to talk about it, and a couple of other people too that we want to bring on and talk with. I also with Deepu as well. We wanted to bring him on to talk about Wings of Redemption. Um, I love Wingo. Shout out to Wingo. Shout out to LolCal Live. Great
Yeah,
podcast.
we'll talk about him in the future for sure. But yeah,
Mhm.
we'll definitely want Deepak for that discussion.
Yeah.
You'll understand why. We won't spoil it, but you'll see.
Yeah, but again, like we've talked to some of our friends about coming on. I've talked to one person I work with. His name is Josh. I've reached out to him, and he's done a lot of media things. I mentioned it to him once. I got to reach out again and be like, hey, like, what do you think about this? And I wanted to do something about Marvel and like the movies and how like the newer movies, they seem to be, yeah. But like when you look at like the early tens, like every movie was a hit, and before the
Yeah.
tens too, like the Iron Man, Incredible Hulk, all those movies were hitting. And is it superhero fatigue? Is it too much of like the same? Is it just the wrong people are being casted now? Is it just bad writing? And he's someone who actually he has worked on movies before. He's worked on professional film sets. I haven't talked to him, so I don't want to say what he's worked on. I don't want to throw out his information until I talk to him further. But he's worked on different sets for different films, different shows. He's I want to say he's done 4 or 5. So
Wow.
I know like 2 of them for sure he's worked on. So yeah, I just have to reach out to him and ask him again. I don't like that's the most important thing. Don't ever dox anyone. Don't ever show your private text on stream. Like that's inappropriate. It's a real DSP thing to do. Snort. Or not DSP. Sorry, it's Cyrax.
Yeah.
And
So that's just not cool in general.
As
No.
Cyrax would say, "You fucking bitch."
Huh?
No, he goes, "Do what?"
No.
No, dude, no. If you hear him say it, he goes, "Do what?" Bro, you lose brain cells listening to him say it. He goes, "Do what?" It's insane.
And the eyes going in two different directions. Oh.
Bro, one of his guitar streams, top comment was he's the only guitar player that can watch both of his hands. I was like, bro,
Oh man,
cooked.
that's
Cooked.
gross.
But yeah, and there's other things we want to talk about too.
Yeah.
I know for me, like I'm very much involved in the lolcow sphere. I have my private account. I go on there and I do some trolling, whether that's with DSP or I go ahead and I watch some other things. And then there's other things like I do some sports stuff too. So yeah, we're gonna be talking about. We're gonna try to stick to strictly internet culture and like media type stuff. Like we're not gonna go political. We're not gonna go, um, social things. Like we're just gonna talk about stuff that's just happening on the internet. And we've been talking about like doing some segments. I actually worked on a backdrop. I got to show you afterwards. It's gonna be a news station, so you're gonna like it. So I'll show it to you after.
No, I think that about covers it on my end, and I'll get to another thing in a second. But on my end, I have all kinds of ideas because I feel like we can not just do a show and a podcast discussing all these things because that is what we're going to do. There's no, it's called Internet Uncapped. That is the show. We're going to talk about internet topics. I think that we have a really good potential to expand as a show and as a way for people to come in to all sorts of different topics and really just have a good time, have a good show, and do all kinds of things that I think would be pushing the boundaries of what a podcast could be. Obviously, these aren't new ideas, but I feel like we shouldn't limit ourselves to what our show should be. I have ideas for live streams. We're definitely going to be doing that very soon. Not too soon, but in the future on our YouTube channel. Real life things, I definitely have some ideas for. I want to start beefs and I want to settle beefs if we can absolutely help it. Um, I have all kinds of ideas for certain parodies or skits and things coming up down the road. Mitchell and I, there's no doubt that we are going to rant about something. We are going to really hammer it in on something that annoys the living hell out of us. And we're just going to vent out our shit onto the show. I will say this. I really want, and especially when we have our guests, to have like a high school story time. So just reminiscing about just funny things, stories in the past about things that happened, in our lives. I think that would be a really good way just to introduce people to who we are and what we're all about, but also just like there's nothing better than to share like these crazy things that you would never hear from anybody else, right? And finally, I've mentioned this for years, and you have never, not once, agreed to this. I would like, if at all possible, at some point way down the road, even if it's a year, even if it's 2 years, I want a roast of myself. I would like all kinds of guest stars. I want people to hammer it on me. And when the time comes, I want it on this show. And every time I've suggested it to Mitchell in the past, you always say no. And now I'm like, no, we need to have this on the show right now. I want a roast. I want a roast. And that's not something people want. I want a roast.
You gotta build some credibility first. It's not gonna be
build it up. We gotta build it up. There's no doubt. But it will happen. I am guaranteeing that today on my episode of the show. Now, when I say my episode, this is a formatting thing, right? So, in the previous episode, Mitchell introduced the show. We went through our topics. We did our thing. In the following episode, it'll be me, and I go through all my topics. We run them down, and we discuss it and whatever. And that is by design. Because what we realized early on is that we actually could both like carry the show, and others they do it pretty well. One's a carrier, one's a receiver. They figure out how to mismatch their conversations and whatever. But because we're doing it this way, we can maximize how much we put out there. So you'll have Mitchell on one episode, you'll have me on the next. You'll have guest stars on certain episodes. There might be other times where either one of us are out for whatever reason, and I may be taking on a guest host. Mitchell may take on his guest hosts, and we want to make it variable. We want to make it exciting and dynamic, and that's also something that I'm tending to think about. But there's gonna be a lot of potential for what we want to put out there, and it's the unknown into the unknown. But it's going to be really exciting. It's going to be really great. I'm looking forward to what more we have to do.
Yeah, no, and I agree. And the other thing is too, we're going to be posting, like Evan said, like short term or short form content, podcast episodes like this, a bunch of plethora of things. And I gotta say, I'll say it here live. Well, not live, but you know what I'm saying. We talked about it. You had asked about AI songs, and I said, nah, I'm not really big into it. Not really big. I saw someone do an AI song with DSP. I've changed my mind. If we can get DSP going ahead, or someone that he hates rapping at him, like if we can do Keemstar being like "fuck you, Phil," bro, I'm all for it. I will use AI. I just don't want to do anything cheesy like we talk into it and then we have an AI song of ourselves. But if it's Keemstar talking shit to Phil, I might write up some lyrics and have it go, because that would be fucking funny. But
Yeah, no, you have the technology. You can do it. We don't need AI to make those.
And
Yeah.
And one thing, a lot of those things that I made of my manager, I'm gonna be honest with you, I made that on my phone at work when I was bored. I was on break and I was like, okay, there we go. Like, it's crazy what you could do on there.
Yeah, it's so easy. I'm not a Photoshopper. I'm not literate in that, but like you can do it in like minutes. And it's like, yeah, we don't need an AI. You can do it quicker than maybe any AI could do it, and better with more quality. So there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I've always been kind of skeptical about AI. I'm a little more accepting these days, given how advanced things are starting to get with it. But absolutely, there may be some exceptions, but for the most part, we probably our stance on AI is for the most part probably won't use it, but we may carve out a few exceptions depending on what's going on.
Yeah, exactly. To quote one Amari Stoudemire, basketball player, gotta start a new era in New York, one step at a time.
Yep. So we're gonna wrap it up right now, but before I do, I want to tease what's about to come up in the very near future. Now, Mitchell, I have an assignment for both of us, and that is that we are about to embark on a very unique film that came out recently, and it is called Grand Theft Hamlet. Now, I'm just going to say that. I'm not going to say anything more than that, but this is a movie. It is a documentary, and it mixes Grand Theft Auto video game play while recreating the famous Shakespeare play Hamlet. So, we are going to watch Grand Theft Hamlet, and I have a 30-day free trial through the streaming service Mubi. We are going to watch it, and on the next episode that I host, we are going to review it and talk about it. So that is coming up very soon. Mitchell, get your gears ready, because I have a feeling this is going to be a very interesting ride.
Yeah, I mean, hey, when you're free, Saturday, Sunday, come over. We'll watch it.
Yeah, actually, you might need to come over to me because I got the movie. I got it. I got the thing.
Is it streaming? Is it available on TV? Like on a smart TV?
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, like, I'd have to log in, but I have it all set up. Like, you can come over and we can do the do, and whatever.
Right. I'm gonna bring a pizza.
Sounds great.
Oh, dude, we should bring Deepak.
Sure.
Yeah, Deepak. Yeah.
I'm sure he'd like it. He'd like it. He's been to my house. Look, has he? Oh wait, I will not discuss what that's about, but he has been to my house. There's a story for that.
Yep.
We will not get to that today.
I know the
but we will
story
get to
too.
that another time. I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. We will get to that very soon. So in the meantime, this is Internet Uncapped. We are signing off. We will see you in the next episode. Bye bye, everybody.
Bon voyage.
Oh my gosh.
Let me do
Hello
one.
from the future. I just wanted to come in really quickly to issue a slight correction. Mitchell and I, when we were talking about Royal Rumble, we are talking about all the different wrestlers. We mentioned Sheamus, and during that part of the conversation, we actually were trying to refer to this guy you see on our screen, Otis, not
This punk.
Sheamus. That's the other guy with the red beard and who's a WWE professional wrestler. So just wanted to come in super quickly in the middle of the video just to issue that correction. So when you hear Sheamus, we're actually referring to Otis. So just wanted to say that. Back to your regularly scheduled program.